there's no real benefit to trying to convince these people. Their minds are already made up.
Yep.
It is what it is. You can't convince someone. What you need to understand and what you need to think about is this. Black people, brown people are asking for one simple thing. Equality. We're not asking to be put above anybody. We're not asking to be put on this pedestal.
Yeah, no matter what Terry Crews says. Right.
But fuck that dude. He said some other dumb shit.
I know.
But we're not asking for any of this. We're asking for equality, right? And the way I broke it down was this. Why is it so frightening that the sheer thought of someone like me moving into a nice neighborhood, why does that scare people? If you can give me an actual answer, then all this stuff that's going on, null and void, because you gave me a legit answer as to why. However, you can't, because all your answer would be rooted in someone hate, right? Hate, racism, prejudice, all that stuff, right?
Black, they bring drugs into communities. They make everything, the value go down, and I don't know anything else. But
and I was like, that right there should always prove your point, because the simple fact is that all these stats, all these numbers, all these things that they bring up, one, isn't true, but two, it just proves the bigger point of ours, which is you just have a problem with black people, and you don't even know why. It's because you've been conditioned to have a problem with black people. Mm-hmm. And you can't fathom a world where I can stand next to you and it makes sense. You just can't fathom it.
Unless they're magical.
Yeah, unless they're magical, play basketball, rap, or they must be selling drugs.
Right. And even then, it's when they're like athlete and all that stuff, even then it's like only if they stay in their place.
Right.
And they don't do shit like protest and not play that day.
Right. Like, it's amazing how, and I'm using this one because this one literally is something that, it was crazy how it happened. This happened, and then the Rittenhouse thing happened, and I was like, this is literally in a 3-day span. It's like, what's the difference? Mm-hmm. This person had no weapon, right? They tried to, like Mark said, demonize Jacob Blake and say, he actually had a knife in the car. Okay, I'll tell you right now. Like, I also have a knife in my car.
Who doesn't have a knife in their car? Like, you need that shit for its safety. It's that they teach you, like, get that one that rips the belt off just in case something happens.
Safety, but also at night when stuff happens where you have to fix something, those are very useful. Yeah. Most of us have utility knives, bro. Like, what are you talking about? 2, I don't know anybody, I mean anybody, black, white, whoever, unless they are completely high out of their mind or crazy. Why would you fight police officers who have their guns drawn on you with a knife? Yeah. That's stupid.
Hey.
That's like...
I see you really brought a gun to a knife fight, bitch.
But you don't know that my knife...
projectile.
But it's like, that's stupid. Right? Not to mention the most important thing about this whole story that everyone is, for some odd reason, which is not odd because they're doing it purposely, they're leaving out this man's 3 kids were in that car when they shot him.
Yeah. And they stopped mentioning the fact that he was helping out by breaking up a fight. Right. Like, nobody does that shit. Do you do that shit? Do you break up a fight that you see randomly on the street when you have kids in the back of your car? I wouldn't do that shit for anything if my kids were in the back of the car. And this dude is going above and beyond trying to, like, help his fellow people on the street. And what does he get for it?
I don't know the whole story when it comes to that fight. There's some people saying that it was someone in his family that he was trying to break up the fight. There's other people saying that, no, he didn't know those people and he just broke up the fight. Don't know. Don't care. Still, he wasn't doing anything wrong.
Yeah, either way, he was helping.
Right. I want someone to explain to me how shooting a man with children in the vehicle makes any sense whatsoever when they have A, their back turned, B, There's no weapon on them, right?
7 times, man.
See what happened to cops? They protect and serve, right? That's their reason that they're supposed to be here, right? They also have a thing called risk assessment. Anytime you see a high speed chase and you see cops chasing the car, and if they go at certain speeds, what do? They'll back off, or they'll say like, oh, there's a hostage in the car. They'll back off because holy crap, we don't want to hurt the hostage. We don't want anything to happen to that person, whatever, blah blah blah, right? Explain to me how this makes sense so you're going to shoot a man 7 times with his kids in the car. What happens if those bullets hit the kids?
Yeah.
Is it now, oh, you know what? Those kids, sadly, they had to die because their father didn't want to listen to police officers, and that makes it okay.
And digging deeper, we found out those kids actually have records.
Oh,
they
because
had detention in school
that 8-year-old of his, she missed school that day.
Yeah.
Damn it. Fuck, dude. Like, it's ridiculous at this point. I don't have any other, I feel like we've said all the buzzwords and, all our hot takes on this stuff.
It's us repeating ourselves, man. Yeah. It's getting harder and harder to do the smart and the right thing, which is don't get involved in these crazy situations, stay alive,
right.
Hopefully, either if you can, start a business, hire nothing but minorities to help your community out any way you can, all that shit. It's getting so fucking hard to play it smart because you see all this shit. They've already fired. They fired first shit. They've done that so many times without any retaliation from this side besides peaceful protest.
Right.
That's the only retaliation that's happened. And even then, they still shoot at protesters.
And I realized this whole thing, sans the clear, bias, prejudice, and the racist stuff, right? Which is hard to omit. But from just a logical, not even logical, because this is purely emotional. From an emotional standpoint, as a human being, it's clear that we're still treated as animals because people literally, and I feel like society has just lost the ability to empathize. Yeah. I don't care about anything. If Jacob Blake was a white man and that happened to him, I'd be just as pissed off.
Yeah.
Because that's unacceptable. Right? However, you see these things posted online, and then you'll scroll through the comments, and it's disgusting. Mm-hmm. It's and then I realized, I'm like, holy shit. I had this conversation with another friend of mine last night. And
you have more friends than me? You have other friends? What?
I mean, hey, man.
This is bullshit.
Hey, we're doing a podcast.
Whatever,
dude.
We're
doing a podcast.
Do your story, whatever.
We'll talk about this later. Anyway. Another friend of mine, and I was like, the thing that people are just completely missing is we have completely made it normal to not empathize. No one empathizes with anything until it hits home. And that's bullshit.